What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good, people? It's your boy Lowry.
True hippie.
What's good? Yes. What is good, everyone? What is good, everyone? Good evening, and welcome to the Everything Lowery Show. This is a show where I go through, or I break down all the entertainment news of this week. I am your host for tonight. I'm your boy Lowry. Tonight's show, guys, it's a stacked one, man. We've got news on The Beekeeper 2, The Social Network 2, which is a sequel from a film that I love that came out in 2007. Roadhouse 2, we got some updates on Roadhouse 2. The new Simpsons movie that was announced earlier this week. We've also got news on the potential Miami Vice reboot film. Plus, we've got updates on J.K. Rowling's response to Emma Watson. She was on a podcast last week. I'm afraid we have to talk about him as well. We've got Trump and his potential Hollywood tariffs and how that can affect the industry. And plus, we've got a few more other stories. So we have a jam-packed show for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. I can see we've got people locked in the building. Welcome. But before I dive into my main topic, guys, apparently more people than I thought don't really like Jordan Peele movies. And this is new to me because I thought people loved Jordan Peele movies. But yeah, man. If for those who don't know, Jordan Peele, he's an actor, he's a comedian, writer, producer, director. Rose to fame with the Key and Peele TV show that came out in 2012. I think it ended around 2015. He's won an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay for Get Out. He has his other films like Us that came out in 2019, Nope that came out in 2022. Personally, for me, I think Get Out, fantastic film. I love that movie. Us, I liked it. Didn't like it as much as Get Out. And I would say Nope is probably my least favorite out of the Jordan Peele movies. Let me know in the chat which are your favorite Jordan Peele movies. Let me know. But yeah, recently he's also produced a lot of stuff, produced TV series. There's a new film that comes out tomorrow in the UK called Him, starring Marlon Wayans. I spoke about it on last week's show about how the reviews that have come out haven't been too great. So yeah, this film's out tomorrow in cinemas if you want to catch that. So it's like a horror film. But whilst I've been listening to my usual podcast that I listen to during the week, it dawned on me that, you know, people are not fans of Jordan Peele, and I was quite surprised. So yeah, let's take it quickly to the video that I'm talking about, and this is the Rory and Mal podcast that I frequently watch. Shout out to those guys. But yeah, so at the top end of their show, they're talking about the movies that they watched, and they speak about Him. And this is the response to to knowing that this movie was produced by Jordan Peele.
Oh, it's a Jordan Peele thing.
Yes.
Oh, I definitely was gonna go to Kanye late.
Yes.
Why you shit out Jordan Peele?
I know it's you're not supposed to say that, but I mean, you know, a lot of his movies stink.
Well, what's a lot?
Damn. Rory said a lot of Jordan Peele movies stink. That's a
he
strong
only had-
statement.
Don't he have like 3?
So 3.
Directed.
3 stinkies.
Well, I want to go with
This
directing.
was directed by him. It wasn't written by him.
Okay, any writing and directing, yeah, usually stinks. Like I like the show Key and Peele, don't get me wrong, and he's been in movies that I like, but Get Out was awful.
Now, Get Out was not awful. That is not an awful film. I think that's it's not awful.
I got halfway through Us, and nope, didn't see that.
Us, I can understand why that movie's not universally loved, but I still like the movie. I still liked what it attempted to do, and it was different. And with Nope, like I said, that's my least favorite. I actually I vividly remember coming out of the cinema and just saying, yeah, this film, it weren't for me. But to say Get Out stings, that's a madness.
Okay.
So you're saying that Get Out sucks.
He's saying that black directors are terrible.
That's exactly what I think.
That's what
a Spike Lee joint. I smoke it.
Yeah. I think he's a Spike Lee joint. I light it.
That's the only thing I do to that.
But yeah, I can't believe that people have this strong opinion on Jordan Peele movies. Guys, let me know in the chat. Do you agree with this? Are you fans of Jordan Peele films? I like the fact that he always tries something new, something different, especially in the genre of horror, one of my favorite genres in film and TV. But yeah, man, this is crazy. And also I started asking people that I know, and they were like, yeah, I'm not too keen on Jordan Peele movies. So yeah, I'm quite surprised by this news. So yeah, let me know, guys. Let me know your thoughts on are you fans of Jordan Peele movies? All right, cool. We are going to take it to the top end of the show. And this actually came out whilst I was typing up my show. This news came out like literally, what's the time? 2 hours ago. So, and it's big news. So for those of you who are fans of Peaky Blinders, you'll be happy to know we are getting a new Peaky Blinders sequel series. It has been confirmed by this report by Variety, and it is going to be on Netflix. It's going to continue to be on Netflix. Let's get into this news. So it says here, Peaky Blinders sequel series gets 2-season order at Netflix. Cillian Murphy is going to be executively producing this series. Peaky Blinders is coming back to the small screen with a new generation of Shelbys, a sequel series from the beloved show's writer. Let me say that. Let me start that again. I got tongue twisters there. A sequel series from the beloved show's writer and creator Stephen Knight, set in 1953 Britain, has received a 2-season order at Netflix and the BBC. The cast is being kept under wraps for now, but originally Peaky Blinders star Cillian Murphy is on board as an executive producer. That's good to know, but we don't know if he's going to be starring in this series. After being heavily bombed in World War II, Birmingham is building a better future out of concrete and steel. The plot description reads, in a new era of Stephen Knight's Peaky Blinders, the race to own Birmingham's massive reconstruction project becomes a brutal contest of mythical dimensions. This is a city of unprecedented opportunity and danger, with the Shelby family right at its blood-soaked heart. It says here as well, the new series will be produced by Kudos, SAS, Rogue Heroes, House of Guinness. I'm hearing a lot of good things about House of Guinness on Netflix. Guys, let me know if you've watched that on Netflix. I need to watch that because I've been hearing good things about that series, and I like Guinness. And Garrison drama Peaky Blinders seasons 1 to 6 and the upcoming Peaky Blinders film. Yes, we are getting a Peaky Blinders film as well, which is reportedly set to continue where the last season of Peaky Blinders left fans. It's set to film in Birmingham in Digbeth Lock Studios. Says here, I'm thrilled to be announcing this new chapter in the Peaky Blinders story. Knight said in the statement, once again, it will be rooted in Birmingham and will tell the story of a city rising from the ashes of the Birmingham Blitz. The new generation of Shelbys have taken the wheel and it will be a hell of a ride. So this is kind of alluding to that we're probably maybe going to get, again, I've not watched Peaky Blinders. I've seen like a few episodes, but I've not watched it all the way through. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of time jump after the film, and then it's going to land us in this new two-part season that's going to be on Netflix and BBC. The two new seasons will consist of 6 60-minute episodes each. Beyond Knight and Murphy, the new Peaky Blinders era is executive produced by Karen Wilson, Martin Haynes for Kudos, Jamie Glazebrook and Garrison Drama, Joe McKillian and Daniel Scott Houghton for the BBC, and Mona Qureshi, I hope I pronounced their name right. Toby Bentley, there's so many names. Fans won't have to wait too long for more Peaky Blinders, as they're, like I just mentioned, the upcoming film expected to release in early 2026, entitled The Immortal Man. The feature is thought to pick up where the series left off, and it is confirmed to star Cillian Murphy in the lead alongside an ensemble cast including Stephen Graham, Rebecca Ferguson, Tim Roth and Barry Keoghan. Written by Knight, it was directed by Tom Harper, whose credits include This Is England 86, The Woman in Black, Angel of Death, and several episodes of Peaky Blinders. So, damn, that's a lot of Peaky Blinders coming. Again, like I said, I've not watched the series completely all the way through, but I have heard really, really good things about Peaky Blinders, and I am keen to actually start watching it in time for the new movie. And I like Cillian Murphy. I think he's a fantastic actor. But yeah, this is huge news for fans of Peaky Blinders. Let me know in the chat, guys, if you have watched Peaky Blinders, and if you have, what are your thoughts on this series? Are you excited about this news? I'll be keen to know. I can already see people in the chat what they're saying. Peaky Blinders is fire. Oh, wicked. We've got some people in here that watch Peaky Blinders. Nice. But yeah, that is it for the Peaky Blinders news for now. But of course, when more becomes available, when more is announced, I'll be keeping you guys in the loop. All right, cool. Let's get to the second news story for tonight. And it's all surrounding The Beekeeper 2. Now, this was a film that came out in 2024. Actually, no, before I get to my take, let's see what a Variety is talking about with this new Beekeeper 2 updates. So Pom Klementif and Adam Copeland are joining Miramax's The Beekeeper 2. The buzz keeps building for The Beekeeper 2. Pom Klementif, who has recently starred in the Mission Impossible movies, the recent ones, Guardians of the Galaxy, and pro wrestler turned actor Adam Copeland, Percy Jackson, and the Olympians, are the latest to join the cast of the Jason Statham starring action thriller. The Beekeeper, about a former government assassin who comes out of retirement in the quest for revenge, was a box office hit last year, grossing $162 million worldwide. Wow. I did not see that coming after watching that film. I'll give you my take in a moment. Jeremy Irons, Amy Rava-Lampman, Bobby Nadiri, and Gemma Redgrave will also reprise their roles in the sequel. Distributed worldwide by Amazon MGM Studios and produced and financed by Miramax, with Yara Shahidi as a new addition to the cast. Plot details about The Beekeeper, including Klementif and Copeland's characters, are being kept under wraps, but the film is now in production. The sequel is going to be directed by Timo Tjahjanto, I hope I pronounced his name correctly, who recently directed Nobody 2. And he's also known for a load of other films that are on Netflix. The film's going to be written by Kurt Wimmer, who penned the first film. David Ayer directed The Beekeeper 1 last year. Jason Statham is producing the film via his Punch Palace Productions banner. Chris Long via Longshot Productions, and Wimmer. It also says here, Klementif, who is best known for playing Mantis in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy films, recently starred opposite Tom Cruise in the last two Mission Impossible movies, Dead Reckoning and Final Reckoning, outside the MCU, including the Avengers Endgame, Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, just got what they've been in before. All right, cool. That's exciting news. That is exciting too. Well, I know Pom Klementif, I'm a fan of her. Every time I've seen her on the big screen, she always kills her role, like always does really well. And yeah, like I reviewed the first Beekeeper in 2024. You can check out my YouTube channel; it's still on there. And I gave it a 2.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't. I didn't like the movie. It wasn't perfect, but I did say in my review that the movie had untapped potential because the premise and how the film starts is actually quite promising. But as the film develops, it just became this real caricature. There was a lot of B puns. Jason Statham does well. He's the action man. I will always watch a Jason Statham film. But yeah, it needed a lot more work. And I did say in my review that if they do a sequel, which I could see that was going to happen, the film needs to be way more grounded. The characters need to have far better character development and writing. And I think from there, they could definitely be onto something. So hopefully with the addition of these actors, we've got Timo as a director. He's another director that I will always watch his movies. He's most known for like action and horror movies. There's some Netflix films that he's done, Indonesian Netflix movies. So The Night Comes for Us is probably one of his most popular films. The Shadow Strays, which came out towards the end of last year. Both of these films are bad boy movies. If you like action films, definitely check them out. Recently, Nobody 2, which was the sequel to Nobody, he directed that. So he's slowly finding his foot in Hollywood because he is known mainly for Indonesian films. So again, I'm happy that he's been given the chance to direct these, Hollywood movies and show his talent. So I am actually looking forward to seeing what they do with The Beekeeper 2, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of the first movie. But let me know in the chat, guys, have you watched The Beekeeper 1? And if you did, let me know your thoughts on that. But as for now, that is the current update for The Beekeeper 2. As always, when more information becomes available, I'll be keeping you guys in the loop. All right, moving on to a film that I didn't really see coming. And when the news broke, I was like, okay. And I'm talking about The Social Network. We are getting a sequel to The Social Network, and it's called The Social Reckoning. Let's get into the news. So here on Variety, it posts that The Social Network follow-up sets for a 2026 release date, and the official title is The Social Reckoning. Academy Award winner Aaron Sorkin's follow-up to The Social Network, now officially titled The Social Reckoning, will hit theaters on the 9th of October 2026. Sony Pictures announced last week Friday. Oscar winner Mikey Madison, who recently starred in Nora, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Golden Globe and Emmy Award winner Jeremy Allen White, who is the lead actor in the Disney Plus series The Bear. He's also going to be playing Bruce Springsteen in Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere. And also Emmy and Grammy nominee Bill Burr are all set to star in this new sequel. Plus, we have the addition of Jeremy Strong, who starred in the Apprentice movie, but he's most known for his role in Succession, which is a fantastic HBO series if you haven't watched it. These guys will all star in The Social Reckoning, with Strong confirmed to play Mark Zuckerberg, which means Jesse Eisenberg will not be featuring in this film because Jesse played Mark Zuckerberg in the original film that came out in, I think, 2007. I'll double fact check that. But the post also says here, The Social Reckoning is written and directed by Sorkin, who also produces alongside Todd Black, Peter Rice, and Stuart Besser. Production is expected to start next month. Described as a companion piece to The Social Network, the new film focuses on events that take place nearly 2 decades after the boy genius programmer and the trope of tech pioneers invented what will go on to become the world's largest social media platform. The Social Reckoning tells the true story of how Francis Haugen, who's going to be played by Madison, and young Facebook engineer enlist the help of Jeff Horowitz, a Wall Street Journal reporter, to go on a dangerous journey that ends up blowing the whistle on the social network's most guarded secrets. Horowitz reporting a series of articles known the Facebook Files was published in 2021 and exposed Facebook for its harmful effects on teens and its knowing proliferation of misinformation, which contributed to acts of political violence. It was 2010 that The Social Network, not '07. 2010's The Social Network, also released in October, was a critical and commercial hit, earning, $226 million at the global box office and receiving 8 Academy Award nominations, including Best Picture, Sorkin's win for Best Adapted Screenplay, and that original film was loosely based on Ben Merich's book, The Accidental Billionaires, was one of the 3. Okay, cool. So that is the end of the article. And look, I love the original Facebook movie, The Social Network. Fincher directed that. David Fincher, one of my favorite directors. It starred Jesse Eisenberg, Andrew Garfield, even Justin Timberlake, Dakota Johnson. It's a classical biographical drama. If you haven't watched it, definitely add that to your watch list. And yeah, look, the original film focused more on the creation of Facebook, and as it said here in this piece, that we're now going to see the consequences of what Facebook developed into, which are now called Meta. Highlights from this article: I'm loving the cast so far. Jeremy Strong as Zuckerberg tells me that we're going to probably get maybe more colder, more ruthless version of Mark Zuckerberg compared to what we had in the original film. Jeremy Allen White and Mikey Madison, both great actors. I'm keen to see how their duo, how they team up to do all the investigation throughout the film. And Bill Burr is definitely a choice that I probably wouldn't have gone to for this film, but I like Bill Burr, and yeah, he's going to bring a different energy to the movie. As it's mentioned in the article, the story is going to draw from the whistleblown 2021 Facebook files that leaked on the internet. Basically, these were internal documents from Facebook at the time, and they were leaked and reported by the Wall Street Journal. And the whistleblower was Francis Haugen, a former Facebook product manager, and this person shared the documents publicly. And the main findings were that Facebook, they were aware that the platform were harming teens, especially young girls' mental health, mainly from Instagram. I don't know if you guys remember, many years ago, there was this whole thing about Instagram and the how people doctor photos on Instagram, and they have to have this certain look, and people were doing crazy stuff to maybe get that Kim Kardashian look or whatever. So that was in the findings. The company's algorithms also promoted divisive or even at times harmful content to drive engagement, which is what we're kind of seeing a lot in this generation, especially with Elon Musk's Twitter right now. Like, there's so many bots on there. It's unreal. And the company prioritized growth and engagement over user safety. So we're going to get, misinformation, political stuff happening in this movie. The themes I'm expecting, we're going to see a David and Goliath journalism versus big tech, which we've seen in recent years with Amazon, with Twitter, aka X. So this is right on the money. Good cast. I'm glad they're keeping the same production, same director from the first, the writer. And yeah, like I'm excited to see this. I'm quite surprised it's coming out as soon as next year. I mean, a film like this shouldn't take too long, but I just hope they're not trying to rush it to get it for next year, October. And I hope, if they need to take their time, they can take their time. But I am looking forward to The Social Reckoning. I love the first one, and I'm keen to see what they're going to put in this new sequel, because there is a load of stuff that is, 2010, so much stuff has happened in 15 years on social media. It's a completely different beast now. So yeah, they have a lot to pull from, a lot of information, a lot of stuff that we've seen in the news, and I'm excited to see how they condense this into a film format. But we've got Kevin Davis in the chat. Hope Sony Pictures make a comeback theatrical. They need box office wins besides Spider-Man franchise. Yes, I agree. With the likes of Warner Brothers this year, who have absolutely killed it at the box office. yeah, Sony needs some W's. I mean, Spider-Man does make a lot of money, so it's hard to not focus on that. And now with their animation studios doing really well, they're probably going to start pushing that a lot with the with future technology and different looks. But I do agree. I hope Sony gets some more W's next year, man, because yeah, we need to see good films from all the production companies. But yeah, that is it on the Social Network sequel. Let me know in the chat if you guys have watched the first one. Are you excited about this news? And of course, when more news is released about this film, I'll be keeping you guys in the loop. All right, taking it to the next story for tonight. And it's another sequel, and it's all about Roadhouse 2. We got some casting updates. Let's get into the news. So Aldous Hodge is joining Roadhouse 2, which is the sequel to Roadhouse, which was a smash hit for the streaming platform. So Deadline reports after successfully launching the Cross TV series on Prime, Amazon is looking to stay in business with its star Aldous Hodge, who is set to join Jake Gyllenhaal in the sequel to Roadhouse for Amazon MGM Studios. Dave Bautista and Layla George also recently joined the cast of The Pick, which Ilya Nashula is directing. Will Bill wrote the script. Plot details for the sequel are being kept under wraps, but Gyllenhaal starred in the 2024 reboot as an ex-UFC fighter who takes a job as a bouncer at a Florida Keys Roadhouse. Doug Liman directed that film. Producers of the sequel include Atlas Entertainment, Charles Roven and Alex Gartner, and Nine Storage Productions, Jake Gyllenhaal and Josh McLaughlin. Hodge and Amazon have strong ties following the success of the first season of the Alex Cross series. I wasn't the biggest fan of Alex Cross. Again, I've got a review on my YouTube channel about that if you want to watch it. Wasn't the biggest fan. Hopefully season 2 performs a lot better, or is written a lot better in my opinion. The second season is set to bow next year, with Hodge set to return as the iconic detective. On the film side, Hodge can be seen in DC's Black Adam, One Night in Miami by the way, One Night in Miami is a fantastic film. Absolutely brilliant movie. If you haven't watched that, definitely check that out. That's streaming on Amazon Prime. Straight out of Compton. All right, cool. So it's a short one, but I'm excited, man. You know what? Amazon are expanding the Roadhouse franchise, and it's a no-brainer. It did really well, and I think that to reboot like a cult following legacy title like Roadhouse is a big risk for the modern generation. But I felt they did a good job of paying homage to the original, but then bringing it into the modern generation. I thought Jake Gyllenhaal was great. The fighting in the film was really cool. The effects and stuff. So yeah, they've definitely got a winning formula with this film. Nice to see that Gyllenhaal's now producing the movie, and now that Aldous Hodge is joining the cast. Again, an actor that I really enjoy seeing on the big screen, even though I wasn't a fan of his TV series, the Alex Cross. But as I said, plot details are under wraps at the moment, but we'll probably find out early next year what the movie's going to be about. But my question is that with the success of this movie, are we going to see Roadhouse 2 get a theatrical release? Because it would be pretty cool to see this on a big IMAX screen, especially with the fighting, the intensity and the immersion, and especially in the fighting scenes. It would be really cool to see that. Or will Amazon stay to true to what they did last time and release this on streaming? Let me know in the chat. Let me know if you guys watched the first Roadhouse film. What were the reboot, not the first one that came out before. And let me know what you thought of the reboot. But this is a short and sweet story. The sequel to Roadhouse is on the way, and now we have Aldous Hodge confirmed to be joining the film. And like I said, when more news becomes available, I'll be keeping you guys in the loop. All right, cool. Still got a few more stories to get through tonight, guys. There is a lot that has happened this week. And we're going to talk about another sequel, and it's for the Simpsons movie. We are getting a sequel to the Simpsons movie that came out in 2007. So yeah, let's get into this news. I'm not even going to say this, but Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, and Maggie will return to the big screen after a 20-year hiatus. A sequel to the Simpsons movie is officially in the works at Disney's 20th Century and slated to release in theaters on the 23rd of July, 2027. The film has taken the place of an untitled Marvel project. I'll get into that in a moment, which has been removed from the studio's schedule. In terms of Disney's Marvel Cinematic Universe, there will no longer be a comic book installment between Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Jeez. But I'll get into that in a moment. Disney and 20th Century haven't confirmed any plot details for the Simpsons follow-up, but shared the poster online, which featured a signature pink donut and the tagline, Homer's coming back for seconds, which we can see here. The Simpsons, created by Matt Groening, is the longest-running animated series and sitcom on television. It's already been renewed through its 40th season. 40 seasons, wow. Which will air during 2028 and 2029, set in the fictional town of Springfield. I mean, guys, if you don't know who the Simpsons are, you've probably been living under a rock for 40 years. But the show chronicles the lives of the Simpsons family, including Dad Homer, Mom Marge, kids Bart, Lisa, and Maggie. A featured film, The Simpsons Movie, was released in 2007 to massive commercial success, earning $536 million. Wow. At the global box office against a $75 million budget. Directed by series veteran David Silverman, the movie's plot saw Springfield being confined under a massive glass dome after Homer accidentally polluted the town's lake. A sequel has been in talks for years, but nothing has come to fruition until now. After a dozen of seasons and one movie since the show's inception in 1989, wow. That's a long series, boy. The Simpsons showrunner Matt Salman says that streaming has helped the series not only remain relevant in the cultural conversation, but also gain new fans. Now, instead of the kids watching it on local TV in the afternoon, they can just watch it all time, all day, all forever. Being on Disney Plus has been somewhat rejuvenating for us. Not that we realized we needed rejuvenation, but we appreciate it. All right, cool. So, guys, we're getting a Simpsons sequel. Now, boy, 20 years is a long time. And as it said in the post, this film is replacing an untitled Marvel release, which shows that Disney have confidence in The Simpsons. Whatever the numbers are shown on Disney Plus, they have confidence. The original film making $536 million is insane. I didn't think it was that successful. That's a massive hit for them. It mentions also at the bottom that since moving to Disney Plus, The Simpsons now has kind of rejuvenated the fan base. So I'm expecting this film to combine nostalgia with the older fans that have been watching it with the newer fans now that are watching it now on Disney Plus. So it'll be interesting to see what elements do they put into this film. Because I remember the last one, and I remember that obviously the Spider Pig was like one of the key things that they were advertising, with Homer putting the pig on the ceiling and it was leaving footprints. Also the big dome and stuff, and yeah, it was a cool film. It was a cool film, but also, you know, this is actually quite good to see from Disney, because they are starting now to diversify the content that they're releasing. We've seen a load of Marvel stuff. We've seen a load of Star Wars stuff. In between, we've had some really cool TV shows and films, but this is the first probably other big IP that they have now that they're utilizing. We're getting a film. They've just confirmed they've got more seasons up until 2029, which is insane. But that's a good sign, and it's good to see Disney diversifying their content, because whilst I'm a Marvel fan, whilst I like some of the new Star Wars stuff, it is nice to see other content. But the question I have with this news is, The Simpsons, are they relevant for 2025? Are they going to be relevant for 2027 to the masses? Outside of the people who love The Simpsons, and maybe they're saying from the analytics that they get and that they get new watchers, is it to the degree that they can do a new full feature film? Because I'll be honest, guys, I can't tell you the last time I watched a new Simpsons episode. Since Disney Plus has been invented, I've never clicked onto Disney Plus to watch a Simpsons episode. In fact, I probably watch the short clips that are on TikTok or YouTube of the older episodes just for specific moments, not full episodes. So, yeah, my thing is, do you think that The Simpsons, are they relevant? And are they going to be relevant for a big theatrical 2027 release? Let me know, guys, in the chat. We got some Jake Gyllenhaal fans in the chat. Jake Gyllenhaal might go. But also, I'm going to get back to this bit about the Simpsons movie has taken the place of an untitled Marvel project. This is massive news for Marvel fans because there have been a lot of rumors online that that this untitled 2027 slot for a Marvel project was supposed to be a Doctor Strange 3 movie, a Shang-Chi 2 movie. We were rumored to get one of those two films. But now we have confirmation that The Simpsons has taken that slot. And as it said down here, we are not going to get a Marvel movie between Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. That means we're getting no Marvel film for a year. Doomsday comes out on the 18th of December 2026, and Secret Wars comes out a year later on the 17th of December 2027. I don't think we've ever seen the MCU not have a movie for a whole year. And that is at the time of this recording. It could change when I end the stream and they announce Doctor Strange 3 coming out, the rumored Doctor Strange 3 coming out in 2027. But guys, if that is the case, that is wild. That is a bold move from Disney. Now, if you've not been in the loop, since the introduction of Disney Plus, Marvel went full on with TV shows after TV shows and film, and they just flooded the market with Marvel content. And even me as a fan, I loved it to a certain point. And what was happening was that the quantity was there, but the quality of the projects just started dwindling and dwindling. And obviously, all the other stuff that's happened that I've spoken about in previous episodes of my show has happened. So what Kevin Feige did, who's the head of Marvel Entertainment, they went to a retreat and they just basically had to rejig everything that they were doing with this Marvel universe. And one of the things that came out of this important meeting on some island somewhere was that they were to scale back on releases of Marvel content. So this is probably one of the outcomes, guys. We're going to get Avengers Doomsday and then Secret Wars. And that's it between the year. We're probably going to get a few more TV shows, which is cool. But if you're in the loop with what's happening now in the MCU, with everything that's happened, next year we're going to get Spider-Man Brand New Day, and then it's Doomsday. So we've got 2 Marvel movies next year. Avengers Doomsday now has to be almost perfect. It has to be Infinity War Endgame level in terms of storytelling, character development, and pushing the Marvel universe, pushing that whole continuity that they do forward. Because guys, if Avengers Doomsday does not work, and they have so much to cram into this film, boy, if Doomsday doesn't work, Marvel are in trouble. Big trouble. So, and the other thing is that all the stories that they need to tell, this movie has to be a minimum of like 3 hours long, because there is no way you can tell the story that they need to tell in 2 hours. Will people sit down to watch a 3-hour Marvel film in 2026? We shall see. But if Doomsday doesn't work, then the hype for Secret Wars is only gonna be with the comic book readers, not the fan base that can push these movies to, you know, the $1 billion box office numbers that they were getting back in 2018. But whilst I'm not super excited about a Simpsons movie, the news of no Marvel film for a year coming out between 2026 and 2027 is crazy. It's a bold move. I hope it pays off. But yeah, let me know in the comments, guys. Do you think Simpsons are still relevant? And let me know what you think about the Marvel news of only having Doomsday and then Secret Wars at the time of this recording. Like I said, it could change. But yeah, all right, cool. We are moving on to another reboot for tonight. It seems so many reboots were posted this week. Now, before I get into this story, take this information with a pinch of salt, because it's not 100% factual, but I have seen a load of news sources post this information. So I thought I'd share this with you guys. And it's pretty cool, actually. And it's all about Miami Vice and the potential reboot that we're getting, and 2 actors that are set to star in this potential Miami Vice film that's upcoming. So let's get into the news. So it says here, exclusive, Glenn Powell and Michael B. Jordan are in talks to star in Miami Vice. Sources tells Nexus Point News that Universal's upcoming Miami Vice remake is gaining traction by potentially finding its 2 leads, Glenn Powell and Michael B. Jordan, who are rumored to be in talks to star as Sonny and Rico in the respectively in the upcoming film. Joseph Kosinski, who directed Top Gun Maverick, is set to direct, with Danny Gilroy, who did Nightcrawler and Andor, penning the script based from an earlier draft by Eric Warren Singer, who did Top Gun Maverick. Dylan Clark, who did The Batman, will produce this film. That's exciting news, guys. That is exciting news. We've got some comments in the chat. So it might predict a few more mad events in the future. Oh, you're on about Avengers. I'll come back to that at the end of the show, actually. But thank you for joining the stream. Appreciate that. For those who don't know, Miami Vice is an iconic TV show that released in 1984. The series was created by Anthony Yerkovich, produced by Michael Mann, and it starred Don Johnson as Sonny Crockett and Philip Michael Thomas as Rico Tubbs. And the series is famous for its stylish aesthetic, pastel suits, speedboats, the neon Miami lifestyle. Fun fact, this series inspired the 2002 video game Grand Theft Auto, one of my favorite, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, one of my favorite video games of all time. If you haven't watched that series, definitely check that out. It's brilliant. I've just noticed here that my that the news is kind of washed to the side a bit. Sorry about that, guys. 1 second. I should. Why does it move over to the side? Let me know, guys, if you can see. I don't know why it's pushed it over to the side. No, Simpsons. Oh, it might predict a few more. Oh, yeah, because The Simpsons is known for being right for the future stuff that's happening. Yeah, I do agree. But yeah, back to Miami Vice. So the series ran for 5 seasons from 1984 to 1989, and it's a cultural phenomenon. It's referenced in so many future detective crime dramas, and the whole style has been taken and expanded upon with other movies and other TV shows. And for Michael Mann, it kind of gave him this reputation of having slick, sleek crime storytelling. In 2006, Michael Mann did direct a film, the Miami Vice film. It was very divisive. Not everyone loved it, but yeah, these rumors of Michael B. Jordan and Glenn Powell starring in a Miami Vice remake is pretty cool. You know, Glenn Powell, he's hot. You know, he's a rising star right now. He's in a lot of stuff. Top Gun Maverick. He was in Twisters. He's starring in the upcoming The Running Man reboot as well, which is coming out later this year. Michael B. Jordan, you know, he's proven to lead a franchise. Creed, Black Panther, fresh hot of Sinners, my film of the year so far. Let me know if you guys have watched Sinners this year. So yeah, this duo has potential for, you know, a modern, fresh take of that Miami lifestyle. Kind of what we get with the newer Bad Boys films, but maybe done differently. That buddy cop dynamic that we don't get a lot of in this new generation of movies. The potential director, Joseph Kosinski, he directed Top Gun Maverick and the F1 movie that released earlier this year. So we're going to get crazy visuals, that high intensity, putting you in the film. If you've watched Top Gun Maverick, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you've watched Formula One, you'll know what I'm talking about. And then we've got the producers and the writers, Danny Gilroy, who did Nightcrawler and Andor, two fantastic titles. If you haven't watched them, check them out. So yeah, look, if this all comes together, guys, this will be a smash hit. It will be a smash hit, no doubt. This has all the makings for a great film. And the movie's set to release on the 6th of August 2027. So there's still some time for more news to come out and stuff. So yeah, I thought anyone that's in the chat that's a Miami Vice fan, let me know. But yeah, when more news becomes available for this, I'll be keeping you guys in the loop. All right, cool. Okay, I didn't have this one there. But yeah, let me know how everyone's doing tonight. All right, cool. Why can't I see this? Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to find something here because I thought I had it on there. All right, cool. We got some more AI news. Well, the next story is an AI story. And guys, we officially have an AI actress by the name of Tilly Norwood. This has to be one of the wildest stories I've read in a long time when it comes to film. It was bound to happen with how the expansion of AI right now is just so rapid. But yeah, we have an official AI actress, but this actress has not been received well from the industry. So let's get into this story. AI actress Tilly Norwood condemned by SAG-AFTRA. Tilly is not an actor. It has no life experience to draw from, no emotion. SAG-AFTRA has issued a statement condemning Tilly Norwood, the AI actress who's become a continuous subject in Hollywood after her creator, Eline van der Velden, recently claimed that multiple talent agents were interested in signing the AI creation. That is crazy, guys. The Acting Guild believes creativity and should remain human-centered and is opposed to the replacement of human performance by synthetics. To be clear, Tilly Norwood is not an actor. It's a character generated by a computer program that was trained on the works of countless professional performers without permission or compensation. They go on to say it has no life experience to draw from, no emotion, and from what we've seen, audiences aren't interested in watching computer-generated content untethered from the human experience. It doesn't solve any problem. It creates the problem of using stolen performances to put actors out of work, jeopardizing performer livelihoods and devaluing human artistry. Bang on. The Guild added signatory producers should be aware that they may not use synthetic performers without complying with our contractual obligations, which require notice and bargaining whenever a synthetic performer is going to be used. Hollywood stars such as Melissa Barrera, Kersey Clemens, and Mara Wilson and more were quick to condemn the AI creation on social media. Whoopi Goldberg opened an episode of The View by doubting an AI actor like Tilly could ever replace a human performer, adding, "You can always tell them from us. We move differently, our faces move differently, our bodies move differently." During a podcast interview, Emily Blunt was shown a picture of Tilly Norwood and reacted with shock and fear. Quotes what she said is, "Does it disappoint me? I don't know how quite to answer it other than to say how terrifying this is." Blunt said, "No, are you serious? That's AI. Good Lord, we're screwed. That is really, really scary. Come on, agencies, don't do that. Please." Okay, cool. This is mad, guys. An AI actress. So not only are some people in the industry using AI to create art and shortcut a lot of things and cut costs down and stuff, now they're just trying to cut humans out entirely. Like, what is this? What is this coming to? Like, this is actually crazy, because if this gets more traction and if this continues to get pushed in the industry, like, we actually might be lost. I mean, with what's happening in the world right now, it feels like as a society we're lost. But this pushes us even further into lostness. I know that's not a word, but yeah. The art of filmmaking will be absolutely finished if this becomes the norm. I'm totally not against AI in the creative worlds. I've said that on previous episodes of my show. But the way I feel and think about AI is that AI should be used as a tool to help with processes, tasks, and maybe in some instances help with sparking ideas. But when it comes to, you're now starting to create art itself, or like it said in this article, in order for this AI actress to know how to act, it has to be trained on performances that are already out there. There was other articles where they're trying to say, this could be the next Scarlett Johansson, the next Natalie Portman. What is going on? That means they're training this AI model and probably many others on how to be Leonardo DiCaprio, how to be Denzel Washington, and it will just learn and copy. There's no organic way to do what they want to do. And yeah, man, like I said, if this does push through into the industry a lot more, it will disrupt filmmaking, TV making, even theater, anything that's left that AI hasn't really touched, because the art world, unfortunately, AI is just killing that, because it's just taking art from the internet and then creating rubbish. Will be lost. How are AI actors like Tilly? It sounds strange even calling an AI by a name. How would it win an award? Like, how is Tilly gonna win an Oscar nomination? How is Tilly gonna get up on stage and claim the Oscar and do a speech from the heart, and us in the crowd, we're supposed to connect with this? Us as humans, we will never connect with AI or robots, because it's soulless. There's this, people say there's that hidden link that all humans have that we just know. But when I speak to my Alexa or my phone, I have no connection. So how is Tilly going to win an Oscar, and you're really going to root for her and feel, yeah, Tilly deserved that. She put in a performance. She dug into her soul for that performance. Yeah, and the potential for this is that we just get no more human actors, which I don't think is going to happen. That's very extreme. But also, can AI actors even galvanize star power? The whole one of the things about movie making is that it creates movie stars. We go to see films based most of the time on the actors that are in the film. No one's gonna be like, yeah, I need to see that new Tilly Norwood film. No one's gonna be doing that. Like, I mean, again, I don't think this is gonna. I don't think it's gonna become anything. I'm talking about this because I need to let everyone who follows me on here, follows me on social media. To anytime we see this, we need to push back on it. Do not let these these heads of production companies try and put this nonsense into filmmaking. We already have an AI artist, some R&B singer in music. And again, don't get me wrong. Look, AI is being used in films. I think AI has been used for many, many years. I think certain Netflix movies have been AI generated in terms of, hey, they'll tell the prompt, okay, what film will work with what actors? It will say, get Kevin Hart, get The Rock, put them in this narrative, set it in this location. So that's where I think AI has been used. In The Brutalist, I know they used it to create some of the buildings in that film. So it has been used. But to this degree of an AI actress, nah. Like, let's not go down there. So, guys, let me know in the comments your thoughts on this AI actress. I think it's nonsense. And yeah, if we see Denzel Washington alongside an AI actor or actress, we're in trouble, guys. And when that news becomes available, I'll be keeping you guys in the loop. But let me see what we've got in the chat here. In time for GTA 6, I'm sick of AI just ruining and watering down artistry. Trust me, guys, originality doesn't exist anymore. It doesn't. Everyone's just copying everyone, and AI is now copying everyone. But this was always going to happen. It's been used as a tool to simplify things, or then eventually be used to do shortcuts. Yeah, unfortunately, you'll get people who will try to cut corners in art because there's just that. But us as the viewers, these guys can only produce things if they get money from what Tilly Norwood's starring in. So if we don't pay to watch this stuff, then they'll know this is a bad route to go down. So we have to vote with our pockets. Ban AI cut. Trust me. Again, I'm not totally against AI. I like it. I even use it in my day-to-day to help with tasks and speed things up. But I will never use it to create art or to create things that I can't do, because once it does that, then what's the point? What's the point of being human? You just give it to AI that, can you just live my life for me? Which is silly. But all right, cool. That was it and sorry for the rant, guys, but that type of stuff just annoys me. What are we on to next? All right, cool. This is a story that actually broke after last week's show. And yeah, we're going to talk about J.K. Rowling's response to Emma Watson. Let's get into the news. So J.K. Rowling slams ignorant Emma Watson as their rift intensifies. Author claims Watson once wrote her a note expressing sympathy over anti-trans backlash. If you didn't know, last week Emma Watson appeared on the Jay Shetty podcast, and she spoke about her time away from the limelight and what she's been going through life and stuff. It's on YouTube. It's about 2 hours, just over 2 hours. Part of that interview, she mentioned where her relationship was at with J.K. Rowling, because she has been very vocal about J.K. Rowling's views on the trans community on social media. And a long story short, I'm paraphrasing here. Emma Watson, in a nutshell, basically said, "Look, I don't hate J.K. Rowling. I could never hate her because, she contributed to my life. So I will always have love for her. But at the same time, I can disagree with her views on the trans community." That was basically it in a nutshell. She does say a few other things, but that was it. I said on my show last week, I was like, you know what? Emma Watson's moving with grace. What she's saying to me makes sense. I get it. She's moved on with that. Boy, J.K. Rowling was like, in Jurassic Park was like, you didn't say the magic word, J.K. Rowling wrote a scathing tweet on Twitter. It's so long. I'm not even going to read it to you guys because we will be here until next week's show. It's such a long tweet. I was like, you can write this many characters on Twitter. It was mad. But yeah, thankfully, Variety has kind of condensed all that information. So we're going to get into that news. So J.K. Rowling has taken aim once again at Harry Potter actor Emma Watson. Amid their ongoing rift making headlines this month, the author wrote in a new post on X that Watson has so little experience of real life, she's ignorant of how ignorant she is. Damn. Claiming that she once got a letter from Watson that allegedly showed sympathy towards the public backlash Rowling was enduring for sharing views on the trans community that Watson had already publicly disagreed with. The rift between Rowling and Watson started in 2020 after the Harry Potter author began sharing views on the transgender community that many found to be transphobic. Watson joined Harry Potter co-stars like Daniel Radcliffe by publicly opposing Rowling, sharing in a statement at the time, "Trans people are who they are and deserve to live their lives without being constantly questioned or told they aren't who they say they are." In her new X post, which is Twitter, Rowling said it is completely fine for Watson and Radcliffe to have opinions that don't align with her own. She explained, "I'm not owed eternal agreement from any actor who once played a character I created. The idea is as ludicrous as me checking with the boss I had when I was 21 for what options I should hold these days. Emma Watson and her co-stars have every right to embrace gender identity ideology. Such beliefs are legally protected, and I wouldn't want to see any of them threatened with loss of work or violence or death because of them. However, Emma and Dan in particular have both made it clear over the last few years that they think our former professional association gives them a particular right, obligation to critique me and my views in public." Rowling continued, "Years after they finished acting in Potter, they continued to assume the role of de facto spokespeople for the world I created." Watson and Rowling's rift became a viral talking point this month after Watson spoke on the matter during a recent episode of the On Purpose with Jay Shetty podcast. Rowling wrote on her X post that she had always turned down requests to comment on Watson in the past because I didn't want her to be hounded as the result of anything I said. That now changed given Watson's interview with Jay Shetty, in which Watson said that she can still love her experience of working with Rowling on the Harry Potter movies while disagreeing with Rowling's views on the trans community. "I really don't believe that by having that experience and holding the love and support and views that I have this is what this is what Emma said on the podcast. "I really don't believe that by having that experience and holding the love and support and views that I have means that I can't and don't treasure Joe and the person that I had personal experiences with." Watson said, "I will never believe that one negates the other and that my experience of that person I don't get to keep and cherish." Now, according to Rowling, Watson once asked someone to pass a handwritten note from her to me, which contained the single sentence, "I'm sorry for what you're going through." This is from her tweet. It says here, "She also has my phone number." This is back when the death, rape, and torture threats against me were at their peak, and at a time when my personal security measures had been tightened. This is a long tweet, guys. Damn. Had been tightened considerably I was constantly worried for my family's safety. Emma had just publicly poured more petrol onto flames, yet thought a one line of expression of concern from her would reassure me of her fundamental sympathy and kindness. Oh, this is actually the whole tweet. I can't read this all, guys. This is very long. Let me know in the chat. Do you want to hear the rest of it? Basically, in a nutshell, she's come out and said, "Yo, oh wait, this part here was quite interesting." J.K. Rowling goes on to say, "I wasn't a multimillionaire at 14. I lived in poverty while writing the book that made Emma famous." Rowling added, "I therefore understand from my own life experience what the trashing of women's rights in which Emma has so enthusiastically participated means to women and girls without her privileges. The greatest irony here is, had Emma not decided in her most recent interview to declare that she loves and treasures me, a change of tack I suspect she adopted because she noticed full-throttled condemnation of me is no longer quite as fashionable as it once was, I might never have been this honest." Jeez. This is a scathing. Yeah, this is super long, guys. She just absolutely relit the flame. Like, this is not going to die down anytime soon, and I expect probably Emma Watson to respond to this long tweet. She's basically saying, nah, you can't go in the podcast and do Kumbaya when before you was trashing me, and the only time that you tried to gain some sort of relationship back with me, you wrote on a piece of paper a sympathy note. JK's like, nah, they ain't working with me. I don't really have anything to add to this because this is crazy. And it's sad to see because I love the Harry Potter franchise. And again, like I said last week, I don't agree with how J.K. Rowling goes about things. I like what Emma did last week, but at the same time, from J.K.'s tweet, I can definitely see the resentment, why she has the resentment that she has for the actors that have outed her on Twitter. So, yeah, that's crazy. And like I said, I don't see this dying down anytime soon. But let me know in the comments, guys. From what I read out, do you agree with J.K. Rowling coming out and basically just negating what Emma said last week on the podcast and saying, nah, this ain't gonna run with me. This is why we've got this rift, and I'm gonna out everything. Or do you think she should have just kind of moved with grace and just accepted what was said on the podcast and just kept it moving? Let me know. Of course, guys, it will get to a point where it'll become quite boring talking about this because it's the same old stuff. But if anything major comes out of this, I'll probably bring it back on the show. But this will probably be the last time I'll speak about this because, yeah, you just end up speaking about the same stuff. But yeah, let me know in the comments, guys. All right, cool. We've got 2 more news reports and a review coming up for a film. All right. Let's get into this next news for tonight. So Disney reportedly lost 1.7 million subscribers from Disney Plus after Jimmy Kimmel's suspension last week. Now, if you joined my show last week, I broke down the news of why Jimmy Kimmel was axed from his show for a couple of days, and then he was brought back onto the airwaves due to his comments made around the Charlie Kirk. But because his jokes were mostly aimed at Trump, you kind of found out why he was axed from the TV channels. And Disney owned ABC. There was a whole riff-raff with the news channels that owned. So in America, they have different states are owned by Nexstar, and I think there's Silver Lake or someone like that. And those two broadcasters basically said we're not going to show the Jimmy Kimmel show in these states, which meant Disney had to pull him off the airwaves. Now, because of that, there was a huge backlash from social media to known actors that are on current Disney productions. Pedro Pascal was one of them. He plays Reed Richards on the Fantastic Four movie, and he has a major role in Avengers Doomsday, apparently. He even posted a photo with Jimmy Kimmel. There were a few others that posted onto their story about the whole situation. And at the time, there were rumors that Disney lost about $4 billion on their share price because people were posting on Twitter, X. I hate calling it X. I'm going to call it Twitter. It's never going to be X to me. People were showing that they were canceling their Disney Plus subscription. So again, this hasn't been fully confirmed, but according to the Handbasket newsletter, between September 17th and the 23rd of September, the Disney Plus streaming app lost more than 1.7 million paid subscribers, which represents a 436 increase above the baseline subscriber churn. So they currently have around 207 million subscribers across all three streamers during its third quarter. And to have almost 2 million subscribers go overnight, that's insane. But it goes to show that the power of the people it works, because a couple days later, Disney were like, yo, Kimmel, we need you back. We need you back on, and we will fight the battle for you, because his return delivered huge ratings. He had 6.5 million views tuning in for his Tuesday comeback show. That's the show's second most watched broadcast in its 22-year history on air. Ratings have dropped back down, but that was to be expected. To the show's average 2.3 million total viewers. So it was a 64% drop, they're saying, on this report. But still, it just goes to show, man, when the people come together, you can make change. And if it turns out that they did lose 1.7 million subscribers, then Disney ain't going to make that mistake again. That's one thing for sure. But yeah, good to see Jimmy back on the airwaves. Not airwaves. Good to see him back on the TV screen. And yeah, he's been doing other shows this week, and he's been performing more jokes and stuff. So it's good to see him back on form. But yeah, I thought I'd just share this information with you guys, because yeah, 1.7 million is crazy. That is a lot of churn. And in a day and age as well, where it's hard to get streamer customers, like, I know a lot of people pick and choose now because there's so many streamers, and it's now almost like £100 a month. If I get rid of Disney, you have to now have something on there that's going to pull me back. And right now, they don't have a lot of stuff on there. It's not like Netflix, where they have their originals and then they have tons and tons of other films and series that people know and love. So I would say like Netflix nowadays is probably a staple. And then you add I think Netflix and Prime mainly for delivery, and then your Apple TVs, your Disney Plus, your Paramount. There's, I think, Peacock. I think people add those when something they want to watch is on there. They don't keep it on all the time. So yeah, good to see Kimmel back. Good to see the power of the people. But yeah, when more news becomes available, I'll be keeping you guys in the loop. All right, cool. We're getting to the last news story for tonight before I get into my review for... actually, I won't tell you the film just yet. Where's this page gone? There we are. All right, cool. All right, the last news story for tonight. And this one is funny, but also kind of scary at the same time, but I don't think it's going to happen. And it's all about President Trump. So President Trump renews the threat of 100% tariffs on films made outside the US. It quotes here, "Our movie making business has been stolen. just like stealing candy from a baby. Let's get into this report here. So President Donald Trump has renewed his threat of implementing tariffs on films produced outside the United States. Quotes here. It quotes Trump saying, "Our movie-making business has been stolen from the United States of America by other countries, just like stealing candy from a baby. California, with its weak and incompetent governor, has been particularly hard hit," he wrote on Monday on his social media platform, Truth Social. "Therefore, in order to solve this long-time, never-ending problem, I will be imposing a 100% tariff on any and all movies that are made outside of the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter." This guy. It goes on to say in this report, it's unclear what reignited the proclamation, but Trump made a similar declaration in May because he deemed foreign productions as a national security threat. Imagine watching a film and saying, yo, because this was made in the UK, or if this was made in Europe or Asia, that is a threat to national security. What's this guy on? Adding that they not only draw filmmakers out of other markets, but also bring messaging and propaganda into the United States. There was uncertainty at the time about whether the president had the authority to institute such a tariff or how it would be implemented. Film and TV production in recent years has been decamping from Hollywood to shoot in locations that offer lucrative tax incentives like the United Kingdom, Australia, and New Zealand. You will see a lot of films like Avatar, like a lot of the Marvel films, a lot of the big block Mission Impossible, Dune, they are shot a lot of the times in New Zealand, in Australia, and the United Kingdom. The new Harry Potter TV series has been shot in the UK. I think Disney have Pinewood Studios booked out for like the next 2 years on future productions. I know Game of Thrones shoots in certain places in Europe. As it says here, June, Tom Cruise preferred to shoot on location rather than sound stages because you get a more authentic look and feel of the movie. You can replicate being in different places, but it's not always the best way to, and it can be very expensive as well. So yeah, like movies like The Odyssey handle prep work, because also this adds further complication if you're going to put 100% tariffs, because it handled prep work, post-production, and shot some sequences in Los Angeles, but also had production outside the US. So how do you split a film and put tariffs on certain elements of a film? Like, are you going to get invoices and say, yo, because this invoice, you're going to have to get this invoice from the country that you filmed in, and then I'm going to slap 100% tariffs on that? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I thought this news was hilarious, but with the way Trump's been moving recently, you never know. You never know. But look, the implications of this could be that, you know, us as the viewers, our cinema tickets go up because now with 100% tariffs on films, and because most films are shot outside of Hollywood, it now becomes more expensive. And the people that always pay are the Patreons, the people that pay to go to the cinema, or even the streaming platforms will raise their prices. You know, US studios oftentimes produce a film with international partners. They get investment from different production companies, different companies. Now, tariffs would hurt these deals. People will be less inclined to invest in a Sony production or Warner Brothers production because with the tariffs that come involved in that. Again, filming elsewhere, you know, not all the talent is in Hollywood. Denis Villeneuve is a French director. He's an incredible director. But then you're saying now international talent, crews, and locations will have a tariff on it because they're not American. So, yeah, it adds a whole load of complications to an already dwindling industry. Hollywood is seeing, you know, lowest of low production rates from their studios there because, like it says in this article, they don't have the tax incentives that they would have like they have in the UK and other parts of Europe and New Zealand and Australia. So what he's saying is just don't make any sense at all. But yeah, let me know, guys. Do you think President T will actually go through with this 100% tariff on movies made outside of the US? I don't see it happening, but like I said, you never know with Trump. One day he just might feel away and say, yo, tariffs there, done. But yeah, that is it for the news of this week. It's a lot. It's almost an hour and a half show. This is the longest show that I've done probably ever. And I appreciate everyone still tuning in to almost 11 p.m. So I'm going to move it to the last segment of the show. And this is where I have my reviews for upcoming titles. And this week, well, this show, I'm going to be reviewing a movie called Roofman. Now, this film, actually, let me rewind it back. Roofman is directed by Derek Cianfrance. It stars Channing Tatum, Kirsten Dunst, Lakeith Stanfield, and a strong supporting cast. There's many more faces that people will know. And the film follows a character called Jeffrey Manchester, who's a former soldier and professional thief who hides out in a Toys R Us after escaping prison. And his plan is to stay under the radar until the heat blows off because the police are looking for him. But his plan gets thrown off when he falls for a divorced mum, and then his double life starts to unravel, sparking a tense game of cat and mouse as his past catches up with him. Now, I didn't see the trailer for this film. I got invited to an early screening, and the poster I saw, okay, this has a really good cast. I like the actors. I like Channing Tatum. I like Kirsten Dunst. I like Lakeith Stanfield. I'm gonna go watch this. And then based by the trailer, I was like, okay, is Channing some spy, some agent spy? He's got a gun in his hand. Da, 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 da. I was like, cool. Guys, this film is a surprise hit of the year. I did not expect this film to be this good. I thoroughly enjoyed this film. Channing Tatum in this movie is phenomenal. He completely transforms into this clever, charming thief. And by the end of the film, you end up rooting for him, even though he's on the wrong side of the law. The supporting cast are also solid. Kirsten Dunst, Lakeith Stanfield, they all add depth and great chemistry without doing too much or stealing the show. The movie is mainly Channing Tatum's character with Kirsten Dunst after halfway through the film. I loved the set design and cinematography. Bang on. Seeing Toys R Us brought back to life, I shed an internal tear, man. Like, Toys R Us, if you're 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s babies, you'll know the name Toys R Us. And, you know, seeing it being brought back to life with the toys, with the aisles, with the logo, it gave me some real nostalgic feels, man. And look, that was my toy shop growing up. And they made it magical on screen. Like, it was such a joy to watch on screen. The movie perfectly blends crime, comedy, and heart. Like, there's a lot of heart in this movie, which I did not expect. And it keeps you laughing. There's tense moments. And at the same time, I found myself really emotionally invested in this character that you're not supposed to like because of what he does. He's a thief. He's a criminal. But the way they portray his character and his reasons for doing what he's doing and stuff, you just can't help but just get invested more and more into his character. This is one of my favorite directed movies this year. I thought Derek did a brilliant job with this film. It's well paced, visually striking. I love the look and feel of the movie as well. It's smartly shot. And I like that each scene has a purpose and You know, nothing really overstays its welcome. They don't try to fit things in there for, you know, just to extend the runtime or to do something funny. And look, this being a true story, it does add another layer of impact. I actually, after watching the film, actually went online to find out how true was this. And yeah, this is a true story. A guy broke out of prison and lived in a Toys R Us until he wanted the cops to die down. Obviously, more things happen, but I don't do spoilers in my reviews. But yeah, it's actually wild to think that this actually happened, and it just makes every moment on screen even more engaging. So, guys, overall, Roofman is a must-watch film for this year. If you like going to the cinema, definitely watch Roofman. It's fun, it's suspenseful, it's heartfelt, and surprising. I left the cinema, I was like, boy, that is a solid film. It's one of those sleeper hits for 2025. I've not heard many people talking about this film, and yeah, it just sneaks up on you and just leaves you with such a warm, buzzing feeling after the end credits roll. Look, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you love a clever crime story, or you just want a film that is just a thrill to watch, a joy to watch, and fun. This is one for you, man. This is definitely a must watch. This movie's out in the US from the 10th of October, so next week, Friday, and then it hits UK cinemas a week later on the 17th of October. So I am very fortunate to watch this film a few weeks before. But yeah, guys, Roofman coming to cinemas real soon, and yeah, definitely add this to your watch list. Definitely add this to your watch list. Looking forward to watching. Yeah, I think you'll love this film. I think you'll enjoy this movie. All right, cool, guys. That is it for the Everything Lowery Show. There was a load of stuff to talk about, man. This has been a busy week, but I appreciate everyone staying in tune, man. We're at 11 o'clock. I know it's past certain people's bedtimes. Definitely past my bedtime. No, I'm joking. But yeah, look, I'm going to be back next week, same time, 9:30. Going to be talking about all the news that drops next week. I will have 2 reviews. Hopefully, I should be going to. I've got there's a horror film starring a dog. I'll drop that hint. So I've watched that movie. So I will be talking about that next week. And there's another big film releasing soon that I'll be talking about. So when I can talk about it, I'll let you know. But guys, have a great night. If you're going to bed, if you locked in from America, this is your now lunchtime, afternoon, depending if you're East or West Coast. If you're here in the UK, it's your bedtime. I appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate it, cuz. Have a good night to you as well. And yeah, I'll see you next week on the Everything Lowery Show. Same time, same place on YouTube. Peace.